Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmasso@thewatchbox.com, the purchase and pricing email line from you to me and my crew with your questions about buying this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews, tmasso@thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing a Z-Series Rolex Oyster Perpetual Submariner date, reference 16610 Z-Series, so 2007. The watch is 40 millimeters in Rolex 904L stainless steel. It's an interesting piece because it represents Rolex in transition in some respects. 40 millimeters in diameter, the watch is 12.8 millimeters thick, 48 millimeters from lug to lug, and approximately 51 millimeters from end link to end link, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on the wrist and you can see that this is a traditional 5-digit sub. Though it has the solid end links in the 93250 bracelet, it wears like the old pre-super case sub, which is to say it wears nice and compact on my wrist, easily sliding underneath the cuff. It's a nice sturdy all-arounder that has some of the vintage feel to it and the vintage proportioning, but without being so old that you think it's been refinished 10 times and poorly treated. 2007 is still fairly recent, and this watch is an excellent survivor from that era. Largely unfettled, you can see some of the elements that made it a bit of a transitional piece. Now, I used that term, let's define it. You can see that although this model started in the late 80s with perforated lugs, by the Z-Series they were gone, the lugs were solid. And though the watch started with a hollow end link bracelet, again, by the Z-Series with this 93250, we had solid end links fit. The watch began its life in the late 80s with a tritium dial. Here it's Luminova. And then, of course, I mentioned transitional, so there are some aspects of the old guard, including the hollow center links, though the bracelet's still sized using screws for removable links. The clasp itself is the old style Oyster clasp. You can see everything remains sharply defined, a sign of little, if any, refinishing, and then there's a clamshell system to lock down, but you can appreciate that internally with your strap tool, you simply unlock the diving extension if you want to fit it over a dive suit, wet or dry. There are also several different anchoring points inside the clasp, so you can fine-tune the fit without actually adding or removing any links. That unperforated flank is of high polish. The lug hoods are of satin finish for contrast, and then you can see that there's a Rolex triplock crown, a screw-down crown, and this is a 300-meter water-resistant watch. Technically, there's not much of a difference between a late 5-digit and the 116610. They're both 300 meters water-resistant, screw-down crown, unidirectional bezel, and powered by the 3135. Let's get close again for a moment. You can see this is one of the differences. There's an anodized aluminum insert for the bezel. The bezel has a sharp but refined feel to its detent and its click. It's smooth. It's not the chunky Panerai Luminor submersible feel. It's a nice refined glide that reminds you this is a Rolex product. The luminescent pearl is Luminova, and it has a sapphire cap to prevent scratching or gouging. Sapphire crystal, you can see the dial is a black lacquer. The hands as well as the indices are white gold to prevent tarnishing or oxidation over time. You've got your Cyclops eye magnifying the date, the Mercedes hour hand, and the timepiece ticking away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. Now the watch does feature the Rolex manufactured caliber 3135. Bidirectional winding for smoothness and silent operation, 31 joules, 48-hour power reserve. It has hacking or stop seconds as well as a quick set date. For shock resistance, it includes a full balance bridge and a free sprung index. For outstanding timing, it includes a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring adjusted in 5 positions to earn a COSC chronometer certification. The timepiece has it all. Super smooth, reliable, precise, and tough. And of course, the watch essentially immune to planned obsolescence, as this is immediately identifiable as a descendant of the first Rolex Submariner of 1953, and in the year 2053 this will still be identifiable as a Submariner. That's the nice thing about owning a Rolex. There are different eras and series, but there are really only a few iconic designs, right down to the steel that Rolex makes itself. That highly anti-corrosive 904L that Rolex boasts is so resilient you don't even need to wash it after submergence in chlorine or salt water. Email tmasso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details regarding this 5-digit Submariner date. And we're back with the Super Luminova dial of the Rolex Submariner date. Note the loomed seconds hand. Every dive watch should have a loomed seconds hand.